welcome to this week's edition of NFL on the Wire, our NFL fantasy football show exclusive to SkySports.com and on demand. I'm Laura Woods, and to start the show, let's take a look back at the top 3 fantasy performers from last week.
Dalton throws. A.J. Green at the 50. Green off to the races. Green still going. A.J. Green at the 5. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Rodgers. Again. It's a 5-touchdown night for the MVP.
Freeman leading the way there with 3 touchdowns and 141 yards. Adam Rank. We're going to move away from that and move over to Adam Rank because I've missed you. It's been a whole week. How the devil are you?
It has been far too long. I count the days until we do this hit again, and so I'm pleased to be back. Pleased to be in the UK. I don't know if you know this, but if you're in the United States and you try to click on these links, banned. I am banned in America, but you know what? I'm happy to be here with you.
That's the only reason we got you in, is because we know that the American people won't have you. So it was really cheap. That's basically what happened.
They're ready to ship me over anytime.
Really? I've also noticed that we're wearing rather offensive patterns together as a duo. I don't really know how this is going to work.
No. I think it works.
Do you?
No, it works.
That's the American in you.
We look like a 1980s WWE tag team. I think it's good. It's a good look for us.
Oh, that would be a great show, wouldn't it? So you saw our top 3 performers there this week. Some monster scores of those boys. What do you think of their performances? Freeman, Rodgers, A.J. Green. If you had them in your team, I mean, you're laughing, aren't you?
You are like, well, it depends though, because I have the rare experience of having Devontae Freeman and still finding a way to lose. I thought I was super smart on Sunday. I'm like, I told you guys Devontae Freeman was going to score 30 points, and then all of a sudden my friend had Jamal Charles. And on Monday night, that didn't work out too well for me. So, but it is a positive experience if you're looking for a running back who can be the #1 guy. He was carrying the ball 90% of the time. Like, nobody in the league anymore carries it 90% of the time, and Freeman did it. And I think that even when Tevin Coleman comes back, he's going to be very good. So I was excited about him last year, really excited for him this year. And that's a great one. A.J. Green, that one's a little bit tougher because he was one, like, I was going into last week, and I was telling people, like, I don't like this one anymore.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, in that NFL UK league, I had been using A.J. Green week in and week out, and finally I'm like, oh, no, this matchup's too tough. The expert's going to take him out. Yeah. And I think I did put in Julio Jones, so it wasn't a total disgrace. But at the same time, you're like, ugh, I kind of missed the boat on A.J. Green. But you know what? He's great. And for the rest of the year, I will never let that mistake happen again. I owe it to A.J. I know he's probably, like, really bummed out about it. But I'm gonna keep him in there. I don't want to hurt. I hate hurting their feelings. Like, I hate benching guys.
He's in America. You're
he
banned,
might.
remember?
You know what? You never know. You never know, because you might find out. It's a tough thing.
I've generally missed the boat in any kind of league this week, last week, and the week before. I'm having a horrendous time, but we're not going to talk about that because this is about everybody. Let's move on to, God, injuries just seem to be so prominent already. Big Ben, like, he's out for a number of weeks. That's going to affect a lot of people because we've got a number of quarterback injuries already, so it's going to be slim pickings on the waiver wire, isn't it?
Yeah, there was already a number of high-profile quarterbacks who've missed games, who are going to continue to miss games. Guys like Tony Romo will be out for a number of weeks. Jay Cutler and other guys who have missed some time. And the big, Drew Brees is another big one. Hopefully he'll be back this week, but you got to go out. And so the waiver wire's probably already been picked clean because of those guys going out a couple of weeks ago. So Tyrod Taylor is probably long gone, but there are guys like Andy Dalton who will still be available out there. Derek Carr. I know it's tough. It's really disconcerting. I know you don't want to pick up a Raider. Like, that's not like usually that's how you win fantasy leagues, is by avoiding Raiders. But there's actually legitimate fantasy value on the Raiders with Amari Cooper. Latavius Murray looks great. And now Derek Carr has been slinging the ball all over the field. And I know he's drawing comparisons to Aaron Rodgers and everything. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes a little bit. But if you need a quarterback, you can go pick up. Get it out of your head. Like if I would have told you at the beginning of the season, you'd be counting on Derek Carr and Andy Dalton. You'd say, Rank, get out of here.
Yeah.
That'll never happen. But it exactly is what happening right now. And you mentioned it too. Like the big thing is what happens with guys like Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Bell should be just fine. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's the top running back in the game. The Steelers went back to him immediately. They didn't have any love for DeAngelo Williams. Like, hey, great 2 weeks. Le'Veon Bell's carrying the ball the whole time now, but thanks for playing. The one guy, though, I'm worried about is Antonio Brown because I used a top 5 pick on him in seemingly every draft that I was in. And while he'll still be good, he's still going to be a 10-point guy. But where you drafted him, you expected him to be a 15-point performer, stretching into the 20-point performances like he was accustomed to in the first 2 weeks. I'm not sure he's going to get there with Michael Vick. He's still going to be very good. Don't panic. Don't bench him. Don't trade him. Don't cut him. Do anything. But it's going to be a little tough for the next couple of weeks as we weather this storm.
So if you're looking at the NFL UK, where you choose whoever you want, would you still be putting him in?
That's the thing, is he's carrying a $4 million value. And so I've been rolling with him each and every week. But now you're looking at it, I would rather put those resources towards Julio Jones. And then you can go, Julio Jones is $4 million, A.J. Green is $3. So I would probably want to go with that direction. Maybe spend a little bit more at the tight end position, although Gronkowski's going to be on a bye this week. He's somebody, again, that you should just automatically have into your line. Although, go for Greg Olsen. Or actually, here's the tip. Here's the one. This is only for you. I'm not telling anybody else. Just share this between us. Martellus Bennett, because the Raiders cannot stop any tight end. Gary Barnidge, who's famous for being on a WWE reality TV show here in the States, ended up having like 85 fantasy points against the Raiders because they can't stop anybody. So Martellus Bennett this week. That's the one. That's the one. That's your freebie.
I'll give you a quick single pick for a running back.
For a running back this week. You know what? The value with Devontae Freeman is going to be way too great to pass up because he's such a small number. I think he clocked in at about a million, maybe $2 million. I like to spend a lot less on my running backs. I feel the receivers are more than are where you want to put your resources. The running backs is where you can save a little bit of time. Although I was going with Danny Woodhead a lot, and that didn't quite work out. But, man, I tried to get smart this week, and I went with Marshawn Lynch. I'm like, oh, he's going against the Bears. This is going to be great. And then Friday, the injury report came out, and I forgot to change my lineup, and I did. I think I ended up taking a 0 for that, which happens. It happens to the best of it.
And this is brilliant that we're actually taking tips from this man. Thank you,
That's
Adam.
the thing. That's it. I don't blow my cush gig. Listen, they're going to find out about this, and then I'm going to be run out of here.
All right, we're going to move on to people who are going to be asking questions still. For some reason, people have confidence in you in this country. I just can't understand it myself.
I don't know why. Listen, I'm sure it's wearing thin by now.
Okay. Right, this is a lovely man called Robert Wastany. Interesting name. Why do I always get the difficult names? Who's been your biggest surprise fantasy performer so far this season? So nice
I hate to do this in a negative way, but there's 2 running backs that stand out to me as the biggest surprise. It's C.J. Anderson and Jeremy Hill. Both those guys have completely fallen off the fantasy radar, and a lot of people are drafting them sometimes in the first round, but definitely by the second round. And you don't want your second round pick to be flaming out, especially this early, especially not because of an injury. You know, if your guy gets hurt, you can write that off like, hey, it's bad luck. You know, these players are playing a pretty violent sport. I can get my head around that. But when a guy just goes out there and is generally not good, you're like, this is a little disappointing. And the problem with C.J. Anderson is that Gary Kubiak wants to run the football. And you know he wants to run the football because he knows that is how this team is going to win. Peyton Manning doesn't see it that way. Peyton Manning would rather put up all these points in the regular season, go out into the playoffs and lose, as opposed to like going to a run-based system. Because if he would just follow the playbook and run the ball, C.J. Anderson would be just fine. But they're not committed to it. And until the Broncos decide that they want to run the football, which they might not ever do, C.J. Anderson is now a matchup play, and Jeremy Hill just needs to get his act together. Gio Bernard has outplayed him in every facet of the game. So these are 2 guys that you probably spent at least a second-round pick on, and you can't even trust them to start anymore.
All right, this next tweet and our last tweet is from Maurice, and I'm only going to give you the option of a yes or no answer on this one. Should I trade Big Ben and Evans for Carr and AJ Green? Not that I don't love listening to you. Oh, and he says, and still have Brady as quarterback.
He's going to trade Ben Roethlisberger for AJ Green.
Should he?
I would do that quickly.
Okay, there we go.
I would keep Brady. Okay, I won't say any more.
Adam, as always, love talking to you and love your ensemble this week. Love that you've grown it out a little bit in the beard, but kept clipping, kept it neat and tidy. We really appreciate that over in this country. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. The pleasure was all on this side of the pond.
All right, don't forget to get your tweets to us, so your NFL fantasy questions at Sky Sports NFL, and we'll put them to Mr. Adam Rank next time. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.